In this video we're going to see how we can control a rectangle's movement around a screen by pressing the up, down, left and right arrows on the keyboard. Okay, so I've removed a few things out of our previous program. I've also added in the colour white and I've taken out the rectangle colour and put the red in directly here. Okay, so, and I've also taken out the changes here. So one thing is, I want to actually draw my rectangle in a given position, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to use two coordinates to do that. So I'm going to have x pos, and x pos, I'm going to make it so the initial starting x position is close to the middle of the screen, and y pos, I'm going to make that initial position close to the start as well. Now at the moment it's only doing my rectangle in this point here, so I need to make it refer to those variables which I'm going to change. So I've got x pos, I've got y pos, and I'm going to make it 10 by 10 so it's a square. And if you look, I've taken out that comma 1. The comma 1 made it a rectangle with a line of width 1 around. Taking the 1 out is going to make it a solid square. So as normal, it's going to say check if we've got a quit event going on. If it's not a quit event, then see if we've got a key down event. Now what we're going to do now is check what kind of key down event have we got. Now there is something I'm going to have to put in before here earlier on, but I'll show you that later. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to check for my keystrokes. So I'm just going to copy these over just to speed it up, and I'm going to paste them here. So what do we do? So well, look, check if it's a key down event. If that key down event is a key up, then we want to change y, the y position by, and I've chosen to move it by 5. Now notice, to go up the y position we've got to subtract 5, and that's because 0, 0's up here and y increases in this direction, so it decreases in this direction. X is the same as normal. However, if it's not a key up, we'll check to see if it's a key down. If it's a key down, add 5 to the y value. If I change the 5 to a smaller number, it'll move by a smaller amount. If I change it to a bigger number, it will move further. Well, okay, it's not a key up, it's not a key down. We'll check to see if it's a key left. And if it's a key left, change the x position. A key right, change the x position in the positive value. Let's run and see what happens, and it won't be quite right. So I've got my black screen, I'm going to move my up arrow, and look what happens. Great as a little drawing program, well maybe not great, but it would be a drawing program, but it doesn't look like I've got a rectangle that's moving there. So let's get rid of that and talk about what's happened. Well, the update function has only updated the little bit that I want. What I want to do is update the whole thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the display so the background is done every single time. So I want to go for my display, and then I'm going to fill the display, and I want to do it with this color white that I produced here. WH white. So now when I run, I can move it up, I can move it down, across, and it doesn't draw. There is a slight problem. We're going to look at this later when we start looking at collisions. I'm pressing up, and it's gone right off. I'm still pressing, it's going up. I can move it across a little bit, move it down, and eventually it will come back into play. And we'll take care of that later on. I hope that you found this video helpful. There's a link to the code in the description below. Stay in infield with Winfield.